Hey everybody. Before we get into this episode, I just wanted to let you guys know that there's actually going to be no more episodes. So when we started this project, I didn't realize that I was going to be putting like Julia's life in danger. And I think I just like pushed it too far this time. And unfortunately, after doing, the Bloody Mary thing, Julia did, die. And maybe not die, but like they can't find her. And I'm just like, I don't know how I could even do the podcast, like by myself. Cause like, who's going to make me do like a make me, and like who's going to make me do like make me's, you know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, hey,
yeah.
Jordan.
Ah! Wait, how did you get back? I thought you died.
What do you mean, how did I get back? I'll tell you it during the podcast.
No, it was on the news. You died. You did the Bloody Mary thing.
I didn't die. Obviously, I'm right here.
What happened?
We'll get into it during the
All right,
episode.
Fine.
Oh my God. It's like you forgot about the whole podcast while I was dead.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Make Me, the podcast where Julia and I make each other do the things that we couldn't be bothered to do ourselves. I'm Jordan Steadman.
And I'm the ghost of Julia. Just kidding. I'm alive. You dummies fell for my tricks.
I'm so happy that you made it.
I know. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to. But I'm back, bitches.
Yeah. Before we get into the ooky spookiness of this episode, is there anything we need to cover?
The only thing I need to cover is that I've done it, folks. I have been roller skating at the skate park. Catch me in that half pipe falling when I go backwards up the ramp.
She's good, you guys. You need to go follow her personal Instagram and watch it. I have
Yes. Thank you for the stunning review.
As you know, the Sandover Snitches. What's your gang name again?
Oh, the Striped Snitches.
The Striped Snitches. They're out here giving people stitches if they fall down. Yes. I also have some Make Me updates.
Ooh, hit me with it.
So remember a few episodes ago when I made the vision boards?
Yes.
And a couple of my visions that I wanted to bring to fruition. One was go camping, and I'm proud to announce I'm going camping this weekend.
Ooh, what color's your tent?
It's red, not yellow.
Donk.
But here's the weirder thing. I recently got to go see my family for a weekend, and I was hanging out with them, and we're talking about our lives, and my stepdad says, "Hey, Jordan, come to the garage. I have something if you want it." And I was like,
God.
Okay. Guess what it is?
A box of crop tops.
A new bike.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Brand new?
It wasn't brand new. It was like a used bike. And it's like a mountain bike, which I've never had one of those before, but now that I live like in Pittsburgh and lots of hills and things like that, I think it's going to work to my advantage. So how weird is that?
That's awesome. You freaking manifested that.
I manifested the fuck out of that.
Hell yeah. Is it green? Can you paint it green?
It's not green. It's silver. But here's the thing. If I don't like it, my theory is that I could sell it and then possibly use that money to buy the green bike or the black bike.
Or you could always try to paint it, and then that might go horribly wrong. And then you sell it.
I'll just spray paint it.
Yeah.
Because nothing's ever gone wrong when someone just spray paints
No,
it.
never.
Should we get into the Make Me's?
Yes, I'm so excited for this episode. It's like two things. I texted you. I said, I have thing to say. So I'm excited to say my thing.
Yeah, tell me all about your thing. What was your Make Me?
Wait, you go first. You go first.
I go first?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I believe you.
Or at least I want you to go first.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, yeah. Because I don't know how long the ghost of Julia Weeks is going to stick around, though. Like, do you have enough, like, ghost time to be here?
I'm not at liberty to tell you that.
For all of you listeners who can't see what we're doing right now, Julia actually astral projected into my room.
Yeah, I'm right next to him.
Okay, so my Make Me for this week was Julia wanted me to convince her of a conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Before I get into like my whole shenanigans, what is like your history or understanding of conspiracy theories?
So I love learning about conspiracy theories. There's very few that I believe. Or maybe I just like don't think they're conspiracy theories because I believe them.
Right. Yeah, that I feel that.
There was a time in high school where I was watching like every 9/11 conspiracy theory documentary on Netflix available. And I watched like all the JFK ones and the RFK ones and like whatever was available, I was watching them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if this is true, but it is interesting and like I like to learn about the possibility of other things. At least I like know this other side so I can tell if it's bullshit or not.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's about it. I don't like I love learning about like cults and conspiracy theories, but I don't actively like try to convince people of them, I guess.
This make me is gonna be a little jumbled,
That's fine.
and that's in a good way
Okay.
because I dove into some research about conspiracy theories, and the major ones came up, for the most part. So the one of like the earliest conspiracy theories that I like looked at to even like consider about like
Yeah.
convincing you. Well, we'll get into what happened there, but in the 1960s, 90s, and 70s, there was this like black helicopter conspiracy.
Whoa, I've never heard of that.
What it was like this whole conspiracy that like a black helicopter is going to land and like it's going to land at the White House, and it's like this thing that the UN is like basically taking over the US. Like when this black helicopter comes, it's like a member of like they're like taking over.
Got it.
And that was like heavily spread by Glenn Beck.
Awesome. Of
And
course.
with this information in mind, I realized that a lot of conspiracy theories are just like far right, like crazy ideas. So like
Yeah.
if we think about conspiracy theories today and that like coronavirus is like man-made,
Yes. And what about 5G?
and 5G, it's a lot of like conservative like and like what's the word? Villainizing like others.
Yes.
You know what
What
I mean?
about does flat earthers, does that count as a conspiracy theory?
It is, and we'll get into it.
Ooh.
And then there's like the Denver airport
Oh
conspiracy.
my God, I love this one.
What do you know about that one? Because I didn't really dive into it.
Okay, what I know about it is that the Denver airport took like the creation of it took like more than twice as long as it was supposed to and like more than double the budget of what it was supposed to, and yet it came out the exact same way that the plans said it was going to. So people think that there's like underground bunker there and that's where
Uh-huh.
like all the world leaders meet, or like the people that are actually running the government meet, and that
Yeah.
there's like are like concentration camps there, I think.
Oh,
and
wow.
and there's like all of these paintings around the airport, which I've seen one of them that are like show like weird scenes of like end of time stuff and
Yeah.
like promoting like slavery and all this crazy shit. And the best part of it all is there's this huge statue of a blue horse as
Isn't
you're
it
driving in.
scary?
It's really scary. As you're driving in, it's like up on its hind legs with its hooves in the air, and it has a red eye that's like, I think it's glass, so when the sun hits it, it's like glowing.
Wow.
And the best thing I learned about it is that statue killed the man who created it.
Really?
It fell over and smashed him and he died.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
So it's cursed.
Do you have a favorite conspiracy theory?
I don't know, that one might be my favorite. I feel like really amped
Yeah, I
about
was like,
that one right now.
I was like, that one was like very, I'm really happy that you did that because I have like notes for all of them except for Denver Airport. It just says Denver Airport.
Oh my God.
So
Well,
it was
I
like,
was there last summer, so we were like reading all about it.
that's cool. Um, I didn't, this one is another one that shocked me was the Malala Yousafzai like murder attempt was actually like a fake attempt that like, it was like a fake fake attempted murder by the Taliban to
What?
discredit them.
To discredit the Taliban.
Yeah, and it was done by her father in the CIA, and it
What?
was
But
carried out
she
by.
wasn't.
Oh, the craziest part is that it's the deepest conspiracy of it all is that it was carried out by Robert De Niro, disguised as Uzbek, as a as an Uzbek homeopath.
What the fuck? Why does Robert De Niro have any stake in that?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is like you couldn't find just like a different person. Like why
Right,
was it
like
Robert De Niro?
I would have possibly listened to your conspiracy theory if you didn't throw Robert De Niro into it.
Have you ever seen the movie Wag the Dog?
No.
That is like a political movie. I think it was in the 90s. It was like this movie about like the like conspiracy theories about like how the government works, and that like people like stage things like the moon landing to distract from
Oh,
other things and use them
yeah.
as tools to like win elections.
Yeah. That sounds really interesting.
It's
I was
good.
I was reading today about it's not even a conspiracy theory, it's just like the truth. The problem with like government and US history and like most history conspiracy theories is that once you get into them, you just start learning all these really horrible truths about our
Yeah.
history that like were covered up, and that's not a conspiracy theory. It's just like we were told one thing when actually something else is true.
Yeah.
And I was reading all about how the dropping of the atomic bomb like wasn't necessary, and it was like more of like a project to see how much destruction it would be done, and like all of these generals and even the president was like, we don't need to be doing this, but they like had this toy basically that they wanted to use, and they were like a bunch of people that were given the orders to drop it were like, maybe we can drop it in a rural area because then it'll kill less people, and there wasn't even like military bases in those two cities, but they dropped it anyway. And like, this is just fact. It's not even conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Like, there's journals of military officers being like, I really feel fucked up about this because we didn't need to. And like, Japan was already about to surrender.
Also, like, did you need to do that much damage? Like, did you need to like?
Right.
That's I don't know. It's so fucked up to think about all that.
One of them was like, some general was like, I was worried that our military was going to have destroyed Japan so much from other like previous bombings, not nuclear bombings,
Uh
that
huh.
we wouldn't be able to tell the destruction of the nuclear bomb because we had like ravaged Japan already.
Yeah,
Isn't that fucked up?
that is super fucked up.
Ay, ay, ay.
Well, on a lighter note, so so basically what happened is I went into like, I researched a bunch of different, conspiracy theories so I could pick the best one that
Yes.
like worked for like this format. And I found out that I have like three conspiracy theories that I think are working together.
Oh my
So
God.
my conspiracy theory is a dark, like not dark, is a extending web of connecting all of these conspiracy theories under one
Oh,
larger conspiracy.
oh my God. I'm so ready.
So the basis of my argument, and the biggest conspiracy that this plays all of these play a role in, is the simulation argument, which
Okay.
is that our consciousness exists in a simulation.
Yes, everyone's does.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. And in this, I was thinking about simulations, and I wrote the note, somebody write this, a movie about finding out you're in a simulation. And then I realized as I was writing it, that's just the Matrix. So think Matrix.
And it's like the Truman Show, kind of.
Yes, so I'll get into that too as well.
Okay.
So the simulation theory, I watched this video about it. And basically it was describing like what has to be true if like we are in a simulation.
Okay.
And one of the things that stuck with me the most was the fact that like one of the biggest things that says that simulation theory is true is that if you believe that like your sense of self is mostly based on like not your sense of self, but like the truth is based on like consciousness and like recognizing your own consciousness and realizing that like everything that you see is being brought into your brain,
Right.
you're interpreting it. So what is
Right.
true is what your brain can handle.
Right. Or like, wait, I don't understand.
Maybe I'm not explaining it very good.
Wait, so these are like hard and fast truths of the simulation being real.
No. These are things that if you believe these things, these are the things that then like you like if these are the truths for you, then it is fully possible that we are in a simulation.
Okay. So the first thing is you have to believe that the truth is only what your brain is capable of processing.
Or that the idea of consciousness is based on what like you can see.
Okay, got it.
And
That's
then
freaky.
and then it ran into an issue where it was like, well, if this is a simulation, then what is like how did like everything happen? Like that's too many computations
Right.
to put in a simulation.
Right.
And I for a long time since I was little, I've had this theory that like, what if today's our first day?
Yeah.
And like everything that happened before today was like just data that was like
Oh
given
my
to us.
God.
So with that theory, not everything that we think happened had to have happened. So all those computations don't have to have existed.
Right, because if we're in a simulation, someone could have just like dumped a microchip into our brain that gave us memories.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then I have this other idea. This is like why this one resonated with me so much, was that I also have this theory that like we are in like a big like universe, and we were created, and we're like some kind of science project
Yeah.
that is being seen. And like that kind of fits in with like the simulation theory, because in the simulation theory it's like we're more like data,
Right.
but like this one is like more biological.
Right. So it's kind of mixing like creationism with a simulation.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But also I think that in this theory like evolution is real, not in the digital one but the more biological one.
Right. So whatever your blending is of the two.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
And then
that's like an argument that creationists have like, you know, that scientists have had with Christian people forever, is like both a presence of God and creation can exist in the same realm as evolution, because God created these things that have evolved.
yes, exactly.
Right.
And then another thing that I was thinking about was deja vu, and this mostly is brought up from the Matrix movie. Is like
Yeah.
that, you know, so the deja vu feeling where like you feel like you've been there before.
Yes.
Here's my theory, is that deja vu is when like somehow the simulation gets restarted, so you get pushed
Oh.
back to a certain point, and that's the point, like that's the part that like feels really really familiar.
Right. Because there's like the essence of it in your memory still.
Yes, exactly. So when you feel that deja vu, you're at like you just that's the part that like you got rewound to,
Whoa.
and you're like, oh, I feel like I just did that.
What about deja vu that's like you've 100% never been to that location ever before, and you're like, this feels similar.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm getting at.
Have you, what's like sorry, keep going.
Because I keep getting deja vu about like being in this apartment, and it's like, no, I've been in this apartment for 2 weeks. Like, there's no way that I had felt this way before. Like, I've never done this before.
Yes. What's like the craziest deja vu you've ever had?
Shoot, I can't pinpoint it. I think I will frequently have like really 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 strong deja vu, to the point where I'm like, I like get taken aback for like 10 minutes.
Yes.
I have a lingering like weird feeling that I was like, why did I feel like that? Like, what happened? And like, I always like want to debunk it.
Yeah. The craziest deja vu I ever had, when I was in Israel, I was dating this guy, and we were going to a wedding near where his parents lived, in like the house that he grew up in. So we went to visit them, and he was showing me his childhood bedroom, and we walked in, and as soon as I stepped into his bedroom, I was like, I've been here before. I've like spent a lot of time in this room before, but I obviously never had, because I'd never been to Israel before, and I'd never been to this town in Israel before.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then I also get deja vu that's like, if I'm sitting in a room with a lot of people that I've never met before, like for work or school or whatever, after a certain amount of time, I start to look at people and I'm like, have I seen them before somewhere? And it's just like from my memory from 20 minutes ago.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, also, I definitely had a class with them, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the one I'm sitting in right now, 20 minutes previous.
Yeah, that's very true. That's funny. I sometimes I think I've seen someone before, but I'm also like, I feel like I've seen every person. Like, there's only like a finite amount of like features a person can have.
Yes.
So, like, I feel like I've seen every person.
And there's like specific types of people, like the skater dude with the baggy shorts and the long hair. You're like, I've seen that guy before. Maybe it's not that exact guy, but like a version of that guy.
I have this like other theory, and this kind of goes along with the simulation, is that there's like only like 100 different like kinds of people.
Yeah.
And like, they are then put like, they're just repeated, and then like whoever they're surrounded by in the situation that they're in is what shapes them into like who they are. But like at base, there's only like 100 different like personality like combinations.
Yeah, if there's a simulation, I totally believe that. I think that also like you can only be so many different types of people just based on like culture and upbringing and whatever.
Yes, correct. But also because of a simulation.
Yeah.
The other thing that I believe is true if we are in a simulation is that there are people that just aren't real people. That they like think about people that you have never interacted with before, and
Yeah.
like you would never ever be able to like know that you looked at them, like when you're at a mall,
Yeah.
and like you're like those are not people. Like there are people that nobody knows, and like it's just taking up space. And then think about the guy that you've only ever seen at a party, and no one knows them outside of like that party.
Do you think that that's just like a projection of a person because like no one talked to them?
That's the perception in our head that there are people.
Oh, like when you're in a crowd, you're saying like only 50% of them are real people.
Yeah.
The rest are filler.
Yeah.
What about if you talk to some of those people?
That's I'm but what do they do after that? They're gone forever.
In your mind.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying is in my mind, that's the my
Right.
perception of existence is what makes it real.
Right. And everything beyond your perception is not real.
Correct.
Whoa.
So like who's to say that like the perception of you to me or me to you isn't just like created?
Right. Like this is all happening in my brain.
Yes, exactly. Or nowhere. It's happening in it's happening nowhere. It's just like
nowhere.
Ones and zeros. Like it's a simulation. None of it's none of it's in existence.
So meaning neither of us are real.
Yeah.
Oh.
Doesn't it hurt?
And we've like been programmed to think and feel that this is weird.
Yes. I'm sure I'm making people very uncomfortable.
You're making my brain hurt like when I think about space too much.
Yes. So another part of the simulation theory is that the bugs are in on it.
Bugs like insects?
Like more specifically like ants and bees.
Oh my
like
god.
they are so interconnected to each other.
Yeah.
Like almost like nearly hive mindy. I watched this video. I watched this video about bees not bees, ants, and how like there's like, you know, they all have like their different roles or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they have a certain, like when they're in a role, they give off a certain like hormone or like scent or whatever.
Pheromone.
And they can all like sense how many there are, and they're always taking like a census. And if they realize that there's a small amount of like worker bees, they will turn into a worker bee.
Yeah.
Because they know that they're low. Yeah, it's crazy. Which only like I just feel like that means they've got to be plugged in. You know what I mean?
To the simulation.
So this is what kind of like leads us into the other part I have, like the other connecting conspiracy theory, which is the flat earth conspiracy.
You're a flat earther?
I'm not a flat earther, no.
Okay.
But because I'm like a full-on simulation person,
yeah,
I think that the flat earth conspiracy theory is a prank that we're being played on by the simulation.
They're like, let's create something so wild
to distract everyone from realizing what the real one is. And it's so close to what flat earth is.
Yeah.
That we couldn't even like we're gonna be so anti that idea that we would never even think that we're in a simulation.
Right, because a simulation is inherently a flat earth. It's like a non-existent earth.
Yes, exactly. So I watched this documentary. I believe it's called Flat Earthers or like Flat Earth. And it's on documentary. It's on Netflix. That's a lie. The name of the documentary is actually Behind the Curve, and you can find it on Netflix. And the thing that I don't like about this documentary is I don't really like when like a documentary about like a subset of people like is villainizing them or either like pegs them against somebody else.
Yeah, like the furries conversation we had.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So this documentary kind of like I think sometimes like frames it in a way that's like embarrassing the flat earthers, like when they talk to like the scientists and stuff like that, because I feel like the scientists like talk down to people so much, but also like these people are like they weirdly pinned they weirdly pinned this guy. His name is Mark Sargent, who's like the main guy of this whole thing.
Sounds like a fake name.
Right, exactly. His like biggest enemy is Neil deGrasse Tyson. And my original conspiracy theory was, and this could still be true, is that the Flat Earthers is also created by Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh my
and like
God.
Bill Nye, so that like they can, so everyone's like, this is stupid. I'm gonna go now like watch like physicists talk about it and talk about how real it is.
Because they're like, no one believes science, so we need to make something ridiculous, so they turn back to science.
Right, exactly. It's like, I didn't believe anyone hated Neil deGrasse Tyson so much, but they like,
how could
really,
you? He's like the best.
Right, exactly. There's no reason to like hate this guy.
Right.
But that was a really interesting documentary to watch, and I didn't realize that they hated science so much. They really, really hate it. They hate science.
Why do they hate it?
I don't know.
Because it disproves their theory.
Right. But my connection is, so there's no way that these people like are real, and they all seem like really polished characters on this documentary. So there's no, that's why it makes me believe that like it has to be made up, because like these people aren't real people. It just seems like somebody wrote them as characters.
Right. And like, have you ever met a flat earther, or is it only the people that you see like on the news and in documentaries?
Yes, exactly.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about flat earthers is that there was that one show on like History Channel or whatever where it was a bunch of flat earthers trying to prove that the earth is flat, and most of them proved that the earth is round during all of their
Yeah. Well, at the end of this documentary, they talk about this like project at the beginning of it, or not project, but like this thing where it's like, okay, well, if you have one spot on the earth, and if it's over here, it should be like you shouldn't be able to see it if you were at this point.
Right.
But they're always like, well, you can see like a lighthouse from like far away or whatever. So they do this experiment where they put a big like flat board with like a hole through it.
Okay.
At one point in the earth, and then they do the exact same thing at a different point.
Yeah.
And the theory is that if you look through the hole of the one, you should be looking through the hole. I think they shine a light.
Right.
So that if the earth was flat, it would just travel through both holes and then hit the place or whatever. It didn't work.
Right.
But they were still like
round.
They were still like, this can't be right. Like, this is wrong. This is still wrong.
The crazy thing is that they like reverse engineered all of the science that human beings used originally to determine that the earth was round, but they were trying to use it to say that the earth was flat, but they like basically reinvented the discovery of the earth being round.
Yes. Exactly. And then the other conspiracy theory that ties into the simulation is that the moon landing is fake.
How does this have to do with that?
How does it not have to do with it?
Why would we go through the trouble of doing that? Of like faking that?
Probably because like okay, you caught me. I just wanted to bring up moon landing.
Well, I'm definitely not like, I'm all for being suspicious of what the government feeds us. But like, I feel like we're doing so much crazy stuff in space that it's like hard for me to believe that we would have just faked that. Other than like the Cold War was happening and we were like trying to prove to Russia that we could do something before them.
I was like, space race though, like that was like a huge thing, and like why haven't we been to the moon since the 70s?
Because they were like, fuck the moon, it's stupid and we hate it.
Yeah, but don't you think we could have done cooler stuff there? Like I feel like a lot more projects, like why are people living on like in satellites, like flying through space when they could be like secured on the moon?
Because the satellites are way closer than the moon.
Yeah, but why wouldn't we just like go all in
and put a satellite on the moon?
And why wouldn't we bring like 21st century technology?
Wait, the space, everything that happens in space is so expensive. So they're like, why would we go back to the moon? We've been to the moon. There's nothing there for us when we can invest in all this other stuff.
You're telling me that there's not like an angel investor out there who's like, I will pay for us to go to the moon, and
no.
You don't.
The angel investor is Elon Musk, and he's funding SpaceX, which is going way beyond the moon.
Yeah, but then there's the pictures. I just want to believe, okay?
I'm fair. That's totally fair. I'm just having the conversation.
Well, that disagrees with my idea, so I'm upset about it.
And it can't be true, obviously.
And this was a play written by me on the divide between Republicans and Democrats.
So your conspiracy theory chain, which is just the base claim is that we're in a simulation, and these are like examples of why that's true.
Yeah.
Does believing this conspiracy theory like ease your mind or freak you out or what?
I think that in the world where the simulation exists,
Which
'cause I'm not
apparently
here.
in your mind it does.
Oh, well, no, I was about to say I'm not here to say that I do believe it exists, but I'm just saying that like it's almost like you can't tell me like there's no okay. Here's the thing: there's no strong evidence against it.
Right. True.
Which that precisely is the argument that I have for it.
Right. So, but that's like the same argument that like religious people have for heaven and hell. Like there's no argument against that.
Yeah, well, the difference is like some people are assholes. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
like I might be more open to the idea that, you know, we are created by somebody and they love everybody. If like I didn't think I would be going to the bad place that they say that people go at the end of it all. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, also it seems like the simulation argument is very, very, very similar to the creationism argument. But instead of one God developing humans and the earth, it's like a team of scientists somewhere that have developed it and then just like let it run based on its algorithms.
Okay, do you want to hear something really fucked up?
Yes.
The simulation argument is like a chain in another way where like we are the simulation of a simulation.
Okay.
Because one thing that I watched a TED talk and that was like probably the worst thing I could have done. I hate TED talks. But he was talking about how like our consciousness and like the simulation theory, kind of what I was trying to describe. I'm no scholar, but if our if reality is just like our own perception, that means like an AI then they're creating their own world.
Right.
Like once artificial intelligence goes as far as beyond to like create its own consciousness based like the same way we create our own consciousness,
Right.
then that's like basically like reality for them and they're real.
Right.
Which is like a fake reality. Isn't that a simulation?
Right, like how we play The Sims.
Yes, exactly.
But if is fake reality is such an oxymoron. Like it's our reality, so is it fake?
I think everyone's reality is fake.
Yeah.
Because like even in human psychology, our truths are like manipulated by like our experience.
Yeah, like our brain distorts everything.
Yeah.
So like you and I could witness the same exact car crash and it's completely different in our
Yes.
minds.
Exactly.
But it's horrifying. Like I think one of the reasons why I'm like pushing back is because the simulation argument also scares me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe the simulation argument.
What the hell?
Everything kept getting debunked. Everything.
Wait, but I like the thought that the flat earth conspiracy is like completely manufactured for either like for someone's fun or like a gain somewhere else that we're not seeing.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of conspiracy theories are that.
Oh, for sure.
Like the
it's
conspiracy theory.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my make me.
Wait, but I like it. It like you can get twisted up in so many knots thinking about this, and then you're like convincing yourself of some things and like debunking one thing, but it opens up another door to explain like where something else isn't explained. And you could just think about it forever.
Yeah.
I love it. Quick question. Are these like your favorite conspiracy theories or are these just like ones that are most prescient right now?
I think that these are the ones that I think are like the most interesting because like they relate to like the human condition almost.
Yeah.
So like we're giving like what what's at stake is like almost like universal basic truths.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like other conspiracy theories are like fun, but I feel like they're always like a dig at somebody. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I was thinking about going into like the John Bonet,
Yeah.
like Katy Perry one,
Yeah.
but then I would have to like go into like discrediting people that I didn't want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're usually like a prank.
Mm-hmm.
I like the conspiracy theory that Keanu Reeves is immortal and has like been alive since the 1700s or whatever. Have you heard that
Honestly, if
one?
it's gonna be anybody, yeah.
And people have asked him about it, and he's like, "Oh, like how could that be? Oh my god, no way!" And like it has like he just plays into it.
Right, exactly.
It's like if someone asked Bruce Wayne if he was Batman, he'd be like, "What? Me? No
Who?
way!
What?
Who's Bruce
No.
Wayne?" um. So did you like blow your own mind while you were doing all this research?
I think I'm not gonna lie, I got really frustrated because when you look at conspiracy theories, like I wanted to be like completely like in it, but I
Yeah.
kept just running into content of like people just like debunking all of it, and it really
Yeah.
like would take me out of it. So what my big beef here is like is truthers. Like
Yeah.
they're annoying to me.
But like not a conspiracy theory truther, like a reverse truther.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They like don't let you have any fun.
No fun. And
Well,
also they're so fucking smug. It's always like some dude in his basement in a green screen, and they're like,
yes.
"Nah, I know Jeff Bezos, and I don't know."
I can prove that this isn't real because I'm part of the corporate machine.
Yeah, exactly.
I know those guys. And last but not least, do you think that this has like opened your mind to the possibility of conspiracy theories, or is it like because you've been like hit so many roadblocks, do you think like now you don't want to learn about any of them?
I want to believe, and I think that's the part that's frustrating to me,
Yeah.
is that like, why do you have to use? Now I sound like an anti-masker. Actually, I was like, why did you use science against me?
You don't get to choose when science is believable or not.
Yeah, exactly. You're
But I
right.
understand what you're saying. Like you're of too much clarity of mind to believe them, and that pisses you off because you want to believe.
Exactly. I want to have my fun.
Yeah.
I want to let go. You know what I mean? And I want to like
Yeah.
I constantly like want to leave it up to something else. But
Yeah.
what pisses me like if it is all random and all that kind of stuff, then it means like I have to be responsible for like my randomness.
Right. Which sucks.
And I want to be able to like blame somebody else.
Right. Yeah. Me too. Just blame Jeff Bezos.
I already do.
Jeff Bezos. All right. So how are we ranking this one?
I'm gonna say this is based on 10 round perfectly formed globes. I honestly think I did so bad. I'm gonna give
Oh
myself
my
like a
god.
2.
A 2?
We haw.
No. I think that's so harsh on yourself.
I just feel like you should make me do it again a different day, and I have to do better.
Okay.
I think that, in all honesty, I think that maybe I just wasn't built for conspiracy theories like I thought I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my brain just doesn't work that way.
You're not a sheeple, actually?
I'm not a sheeple. I'm not a Sherpin. I'm gonna stick with my 2. I think I gave
Yeah.
myself, but also because like maybe I'm just not a conspiracy theory guy.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like that's a good thing because do you want to be one of those dudes in the basement with a green screen being like, actually, I heard that, blah, blah, blah.
In that flat earth documentary, there was this guy. I don't remember what his name was, but in my notes I called him like brain expanding guy because he took like a brain expanding course or whatever, and he was like a brain coach, and he like bounces like golf balls on hammers while he like repeats things. Like he just like repeats things that he memorized,
What the
and
fuck?
then he
This
like
seems fake.
he's like the main conspiracy, like not main conspiracy guy, but he believes every conspiracy.
He's like, check me out. I trained myself to do 3 tasks at once. Therefore, my brain has expanded and I can see beyond the truth you think is the truth to the actual truth.
One day I was working at a retail store and this guy spent like an hour and a half talking to me about numerology. And it was one of
Jesus
those retail
Christ.
stores where you have to like be really nice to the customer because if they
Yeah.
buy something, like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I had to like talk to them about it and about how he's like, there's a way to memorize everything. Like what's your name? Jordan J. That's four blue, and then a house. I think of the R and I think of house. So when I look at you, I see 3 blue houses, and that's your name, Jordan.
And you're
Like,
like,
I don't.
are you just gonna
I'm
buy
so
this shirt?
right. I am so sorry, but like I don't give a shit about this.
Can you train your memory to never tell anyone this ever again?
Next thing I want you to train your mind to is like if you ever have the urge to explain what you're doing to me, remember to not say it.
Remember that no one cares what you have to say.
Yeah.
Period. All right, you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right. Peace out.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome.
How was your break, Julia?
Sorry, I wasn't talking to my microphone like a fool. It's like I've never done this before.
How are you doing, Julia?
I'm doing splendid. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to get into your Make Me.
Me too. So, as you know, I'm not Julia. I'm the ghost of Julia. You could have heard my trepidation last episode when Jordan gave me this Make Me, where he genuinely thought I didn't want to do it.
I would be like, no, I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, that's why you gave it to me, because you clearly don't want to do it because it's horrifying.
It's scary.
It's scary. So before I tell you the history and my experience, what's your experience or knowledge of Bloody Mary?
So Bloody Mary, everyone knows that thing where you say Bloody Mary 3 times into a mirror. And I think my most experience is like, middle school lore where like you talk about it, like when you're like with your kid friends and like
Yes.
you think you're going to do it, but then you never do when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And then I watched a movie called Urban Legend Bloody Mary, which
oh my God, yes.
like gave a backstory to Bloody Mary. And I really like that. And I think that the idea of it is like really, really intriguing. And I love the whole like, creepy pasta-esque feeling of it all.
Yes. Yeah. And also I feel like when I was a kid, I had heard of it, but never done it, obviously, because why would I? And then also you don't know anyone that's ever done it. And also the way it's told is like through other people, or like kids with older brothers told them about it. And so you never got like a clear picture of what she was or like what it was. You just knew that it was scary and like you were going to die or something.
Yeah.
And then there was like all this room to make it scarier in your brain.
Yeah.
And then also when I was a kid, we played a game called Bloody Mary, but it was basically like in the dark hide and seek plus tag.
Oh, that sounds scary.
So
or fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. So like we had a basement that was basically like a big circle, like around a center point, which was the stairs. And so whoever was it would sit on the stairs with their eyes closed and they would count to 10 and everyone else would hide. And the whole point of the game is that the person that's the basement's completely dark, except for like the light from the computer monitor. But whoever the person that's is Bloody Mary, and the goal is to unhide yourself and get to base before Bloody Mary can tag you.
Oh, that's cool.
So she was like evil and trying to get you.
Yeah.
And we would play it all the fucking time.
Nice.
And we like destroyed my mom's house playing it. So I did a little bit of research on Bloody Mary, our gal, and other names that she might be known as is Hell Mary, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And Mary Worth, which I didn't really find a reason why Mary Worth was her name.
Is that her name when she was alive?
It's not really a person. It's like just lore. It's only ever been lore.
Interesting.
So the overview is that there's this like ghost spirit phantom thing that's conjured by saying her name, Bloody Mary, repeatedly in a mirror. And there's like different tellings of the story. So like sometimes she's mean and sometimes she's not mean.
Yeah.
She's just like there and spooks you and then goes away.
Uh-huh.
But the original like the oldest history of it is there's this ritual that young women would do where they were like in a dark house and everything's like either completely dark or candlelit, and they're holding a candle and a mirror themselves.
Okay.
And you have to walk backwards up a staircase, like a flight of stairs, and then look in a mirror. And when you look in the mirror, either you see the face of your future husband or you see a skull or like a Grim Reaper type scary phantom, meaning that
Uh-huh.
you were going to die before you had the chance to get married.
Ooh, that's cool.
But also, I'd be weirded out if I just saw like a man's face in the mirror.
Yeah, like neither one of those like options are like, yes.
Right, like what happens if you do see a man in the mirror and then you're like, great, so I just have to wait until I re-see this face in a crowd?
Also, like if you're like a young girl doing this and like what if you're like 14 but like you don't get married until you're like 50 and like you just see like this creepy old dude.
You're like, oh, gross. Or plus it was like way back in the day, so you're like 12 doing it and it's a 30-year-old and you get married like in a year.
Yeah. Oh.
Gross. So I learned a new word during all this that I don't know how to pronounce, but it's catopromancy, something like that, which is divination with a mirror specifically.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's just like a word for conjuring things in a mirror.
Yeah.
Which is really spooky.
Yeah, that is really spooky.
And so so that was the ritual to begin with that like started the whole Bloody Mary trend, was like young women looking to see the face of their future husband.
Yeah.
But then now it's like turned into you have to be in a dimly lit room and you have to say Bloody Mary's name a bunch of times. It says 13 times, but like all of the different iterations of it just say multiple times you have to say it, like until she appears.
Yeah.
And she's like a ghost or a witch, and she's like covered in blood, or she's dead, or she's cursing you, strangling you, stealing your soul, drinking your blood, or scratching your eyes out.
Yeah. Wow.
All really cute stuff. She's great. And then before I explain that, since we don't like debunking so much today, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But Bloody Mary's in a lot of movies and like TV and pop culture. Like you said, that one movie that you watched.
Yeah.
And then there's other movies where she's like appears and then they take liberty with the lore of her. And there's TV shows obviously that show her like Charmed, Supernatural, X-Files. Like they have their way with her a little bit where they take a character that you know and then change some of the aspects of her.
Yeah.
And there's apparently a comedy series in Britain called The Bloody Mary Show, which is it's a comedy show of just like her daily life beyond like scratching people's eyes out and strangling them and cursing them.
Wait, that sounds so fun.
I know. I couldn't find any of it, but it sounds hilarious. And I also, so as soon as you said I'm doing the Bloody Mary thing, I thought of this episode of South Park where all the kids like gather in a bathroom, but instead of saying Bloody Marys, they say Biggie Smalls 3 times. And Biggie Smalls shows up and like kills Kenny with some kind of gun.
That's so funny.
I didn't try that one because I don't really want to get shot in the face.
No, that's bad.
And then obviously Lady Gaga has reference to Bloody Mary in her Born This Way album. There's a song called Bloody Mary.
Oh.
And they talk about her a lot. Interesting. But again, that's like using her as a reference for things.
Yeah.
So it was like hard to find who started this. Like it did come out of that ritual, but then I guess like the actual image of a bloody lady was later on, or like people just like fabricated things.
Yeah, morphed it.
Yeah. So then I looked into like why this is even a thing, like why so many people believe that they've seen Bloody Mary or whatever. And first off, it was interesting. Like I found out that the more frequent appearances of Bloody Mary happen in a group setting when there's like a lot of people looking for Bloody
Yeah.
Mary in a mirror, which is similar like to the Ouija board phenomenon where it's like ghosts appear when you're with your friends because it's like everyone's freaking themselves out.
You know, so maybe I should have done the Ouija board because I'm a believer.
Yo, I'm a believer too.
I've done the Ouija board twice, and it's been the same Ouija board both times, and it's reacted the same exact way both times,
Which was what? What happened?
which is like negative. I think that there's something bad that's haunting like either me or the
Oh my
Ouija board.
god. Okay. I've done Ouija board too when I was a kid, but I had 4 brothers and they were like always trying to fuck with me.
Yeah.
But I was listening to some podcast where they were talking about how they were genuinely scared of the Ouija board and their family had to like talk them down because they were like freaking out for months on end about it.
Uh-huh.
And apparently the person who was really scared about the Ouija board was like couldn't be consoled at all. And then her brother was finally like, okay, well, do you think that like a toy company is like has some tap into the spirit realm? Like, do you think that they sold themselves to the devil to make this board game?
To spread the devil.
Right, because it's like made by fucking
Hasbro.
yeah. So do you think that they have like a deal with the devil?
Oh, I feel like, yeah, I feel like that the potential's there. I'm not saying
But
that.
that's like
I'm not saying it's like what?
that's like the only I was just trying to say that's the only argument I've ever heard, like a solid argument for why it's fake, because people do it by themselves and feel things.
Yeah, that's true.
That's spooky though that you have one that's haunted.
It's out and about too.
Where is it?
It's like on a bookshelf with our games.
In your apartment right now?
Yeah, in our apartment right now, like amongst
Oh
everything.
my god. That's scary. Okay, so the phenomenon explained of why people see Bloody Mary. Apparently, just the act of staring into a mirror in a dimly lit room for a long period of time can cause you to hallucinate.
Oh wow, really?
Just because like your eyes can't focus on anything. And so typically, like even being in a pitch black room where you literally can't see anything, you'll start to hallucinate because your brain is trying to like fill that void.
Yeah.
So when you're in a hazy room and looking in a mirror, then you just like start to think you see things.
Right.
Also, there's something called this is the stupidest name. Something called strange face illusion.
Oh. Jesus.
Which is where, and they think it's like an identity effect, like related to dissociative identity disorders. So they say strange face illusion is like a consequence of dissociative identity disorders, that when you stare at a face for too long, it like starts to melt or distort or like switch around, or like a strange face appears instead of the person's face.
Oh, that's creepy.
And they just say it's like your brain's facial recognition is misfiring, so you're like not seeing what's actually in front of you.
Yeah, interesting.
Which also feeds into your simulation argument, which is like, if this is all simulation anyway, maybe people that have that is like they're just seeing faces that are like glitching.
Yeah, for real. Or just like their brain is just like cycling through all the faces that they've seen before, or like the qualities of the face they've seen before.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then last thing that could possibly explain it, none of this stuff has been like proven, but it's just like, why would so many people have the same delusion, basically, is what they're asking. It's called, there's something called Troxler's fading, which is just an effect where if you fixate on one point long enough, you start to see things around that point.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at something, so then like everything else blurs around it, so you can kind of see shapes a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I totally understand. Like there's so many of those like fake optical illusion things that get sent to you that play on that.
Exactly. I think that you're missing one theory though.
Yeah.
Which is that a woman is damned to live in a mirror and waiting for people to like say her name, and she like is summoned, and then she pulls them into the mirror and then murders them.
Okay, so the reason why I'm overlooking that is because it's too scary for me. to believe that that's true.
Okay. That's fair, I guess.
But so I think you're right. It's possible that someone, but like, is she in every mirror?
I think that like it's not always the same her. You know, not like there's like different Bloody Marys, but like she exists like infinitely. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's just like really bad negative energy that is
Yes.
like can be like summoned anywhere.
Or there's like a mirror realm that she lives in that
Yeah.
all mirrors tap into.
Yes, exactly.
Whoa.
Like that really shitty movie Mirror Mirror. Don't watch it.
Yes. Don't watch it. But it's exactly like
But it's
this.
exactly like that idea.
Um, so well, before I even like tell you what my experience was, I was thinking about this whole folk. It's like a great myth.
Yeah.
If it's true or not, it's so fucking scary. The fact that you can do it anywhere pretty much is horrifying
Yes.
because you don't have to like travel to a spooky swamp or something. It's just like
Yeah.
in your bathroom.
Also, what's scarier than like your own house at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, exactly. That's the scariest place I've ever been.
Right. I catch myself always like looking at dark spaces and then like thinking that there's a bad thing in there, and then I'm like, oh
Yes.
no, there's a bad thing in there.
I do that all the time. Like I'll be just peacefully sitting in my kitchen or whatever, and I'll be like, "There's a murder in the bathroom. There has to be." And
Yeah.
I convince myself that.
I get convinced all the time that like someone snuck into my locked house and then are hiding
Yes.
in the tub. So every once
Yes.
in a while I have to like get up and just like look in my bathroom, and then like I've like called people before and been like, hey, I just want you to know that like I'm about to pull back a shower curtain and I just want to make sure that you're here. If anything happens to me, I need you to have like known that something bad happened. So I pulled back and I was like, okay, everything's fine.
Hey, at least you're being safe because I just do
Yeah.
it willy-nilly.
No, I'm too scared.
Yeah, I'm very scared. I'm like just scared of being, I'm scared of the dark. I'm not afraid to admit that. The dark is spooky. I'm scared of being alone because anything could happen and no one would know.
Yeah, I think I'm mostly worried about like something bad happening to me and no one knowing that it happened
Yes.
right away.
Which that's the problem with the Bloody Mary thing is because if she pulls you into the mirror, who's going to guess, oh, Julia was pulled
She's in
into
the
a
mirror.
mirror?
Yeah.
No one would ever guess that. Not
So
even CSI Las Vegas could figure
No.
that one out.
No one's going to believe it.
Right. And they wouldn't have to. I would just be a missing person till forever. Yeah. So, long story short, I had to do the fucking Bloody Mary thing.
How'd it go?
I did it on 2 different occasions. The first time in broad daylight with the shower curtain pulled back so that the light of the from the window would like light up the whole room. I said her name 3 times. Nothing happened.
Okay.
That like gave me the courage to do it again at night.
Yeah. Good.
And I refused to do it when I was home alone, so I waited till Gary was asleep, but Gary was like, or he was in the house, I mean, but I waited till he was asleep. So I was like alone, but not alone, because Gary was in the house, but was asleep and like with the air conditioner on in that room, so he couldn't hear me if I was screaming bloody murder.
Yeah. I'm sure if you're screaming at the top of your lungs, the air conditioning is so loud that he can't hear you.
Yeah, basically. It's like a window unit right next to his head.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're right. And he's wearing earmuffs with cotton balls in his ears.
Yes. That's why I was so scared watching Riverdale, because I was basically alone in the house, even though Gary was there and like alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did it again. I did the Bloody Mary thing at night. This time I said her name louder because I realized I was like wimping out and was whispering her name before. And I'm here to tell you that she didn't appear. And I also didn't see the face of my future husband or the Grim Reaper.
That's a bummer.
I didn't see shit. I saw myself.
That's stupid.
I just saw myself spooked out.
So what was the scariest part about doing it? You think?
The scariest part was before I did anything. Just standing in the dark bathroom looking at the mirror was so fucking scary.
Yeah.
Like, how many movies have you seen where someone's standing in the mirror sitting in the bathroom alone looking in the mirror and like all of a sudden fucking Freddy Krueger's behind them?
Exactly.
Like every bad thing happens in the bathroom.
Do you think that like you have less fear of like maybe like those dark things now, like the scary things, because like you took an actionable, like you would think that like, okay, if I'm being haunted, it could be like a passive haunting and it might not want to attack me, but I actively did like I took an actionable step into like opening this thing up for it to happen. It didn't happen.
Yes. I think you're right. Like at the moment when I did it and at night, I was like, oh, thank God. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
But then I thought about some more, and maybe because I said her name 3 times and she didn't appear that time, that she's going to appear another time because she's mad that she didn't get the chance to kill me when she did.
Yeah. How long did it take you to like do it? Like not like the span of time when you were doing it, how long, but like how
Oh,
long from like when I gave it to you?
I did it yesterday. And it's been 2 weeks since you gave it to me.
That's so funny.
I'm like such a scared person. I don't like to think that I am, but I am.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time. This was a big challenge.
Would you ever like, without telling somebody your experience, would you ever like tell someone to do it?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like, do you think it's like an experience on like was it experience on your end to have like, no, like to have done that? Does that make sense?
I think I I wouldn't do it to benefit anyone else. I would probably just do it to be like, if someone was already scared, I'd be like, come on, do it. Like for my
Yeah.
own humor.
I just feel like I might challenge someone to do it as like a journey for themselves, like something
Yeah.
like for them to do. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would be funny. I mean, I did it. Obviously, I did it, and it was
You
funny.
did
I still
it?
think. No, I meant I did that to you. Like
Oh.
I was like, I'd give it to people as something to do for themselves. I'm like, well, clearly I would because I just did it.
Yeah,
But
and for
also,
public consumption.
it's kind of funny to think like about like you doing that because like to know that you like were scared. It's just like
Yes.
silly and funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I was like, I put it off for so long, and then I was like, okay, fuck it, I just have to do it, obviously. And then I was
Yeah.
like making myself nervous, which was making me laugh.
Yeah.
Like same, it's harder to do when you're like truly by yourself and you think you hear a sound, but because I knew you had asked me to do it, it was like funnier that I was so nervous and like my palms were sweating doing it.
Yeah. And like you have to do it. Like what are you gonna do?
Right.
Not do it?
Exactly. And then I'm a dork if I don't
Yeah.
do it. But I was worried that something was gonna happen like while I was doing it in the house that was gonna freak me out. Like
Uh-huh.
one time we were watching Cloverfield, and it was like right at the spine tingling moment where something scary happens, and we heard this huge boom in like
Oh.
across the house, and we were like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, oh, well, we have this thing in the shower that often falls down because it's just like suction cup to the tile. I was like, it's
Yeah.
definitely that. And I pulled back the shower curtain and nothing was wrong. And we were
Oh
like,
no.
and we went to the office and Gary's bulletin board had just like fallen off the wall.
Oh my God.
But right at the moment where like the big monster is about to kill someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, guess this is how we die.
That's funny.
Anyway, out of 10 perfectly shaped globes, I'm gonna rate this, I think, lower than like, I don't think I fully succeeded because I put it off for so long.
Yeah.
It would be different if I had like done it the first day and then was like walking around with this haunting feeling. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I give it a 6 because I did do it despite all of my scaredness. And it was fun learning about I like doing all the research behind the make me's. And this one
Yeah.
had like an interesting background. And hopefully I can track down this Bloody Mary show and watch it.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I think that, this week was definitely a learning curve for both of us. We were definitely faced with things I don't think that we were prepared to do.
We were not comfortable, that's for sure. Also,
And
I
that's
would say
fine.
like props to you for giving me one that was truly like my initial gut reaction was I do not want to do this.
Yeah, I was really nervous. I was like, oh no, I actually gave her one that she's not going to do. I was like, it's going to happen eventually, and it's going to be this one.
Yo, at least I didn't actually die.
That's true.
Like, what if you just never heard from me again?
We totally pranked them.
Yeah,
Do you know what's weird? I'm curious if you had, like, if you did disappear, if I would have, like, connected it as, like, that.
I feel like eventually you would be like, Gary, you need to check the mirror.
How do you check a mirror for, like, a body, though?
That you would have to do Bloody
Like,
Mary again
Gary,
and then dive in at her.
I feel like what would have happened is I would have done it myself. And then obviously
Yes.
if this was, like, the cause of it, I would have gone in too. And then hopefully it would have like saved you from the mirror realm.
It would have been like Stranger Things when they go to the upside down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I believe that you could save me. All right. Do you want to do our make me's?
Yeah, let's do make me's for next week.
Okay.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I want to go first.
Okay, go first.
So for next week, I want you to text your number neighbors.
Okay, I will do that.
And I mean like as many number neighbors as you can find.
Okay. I'm going to do it.
And try to spark a conversation with them if possible.
I'm going to make a lifelong friendship with them.
That's the goal. I didn't want to set that as an expectation. Like the first step is just texting them, but if you fall in love with them and get married to them, that's ideal.
Yes.
Okay.
And then for you, Julia, I want you to do an Instagram takeover on my Instagram page.
Oh my God, yes. Like for how many days?
Just like a day, like
Okay.
like one day of an Instagram takeover.
Day in the life.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to do that for you.
And then before we go, I have one make me for the listeners.
Yes.
So Lady Gaga is going, every album is like a new thing, like a new personality. So she did like the whole like art pop, and then she did Joanne, and then she did other things and Chromatica. Like it's a new theme. Right. I want the listeners to petition to get Lady Gaga to do a throat singing album.
Oh my God, yes.
I think
so
we could
glamorous.
Really get something cool there. I think we could really bring throat singing to the mainstream with this.
And I can totally see how she could make that her whole personality for a while.
Yes, exactly.
Like she doesn't do interviews unless it's in a throat singing style.
Yes.
I'm all in. Someone make the change.org petition.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it. I'll sign it maybe, but maybe. I want that to happen.
All right, we're all in.
All right.
Till next time.
I love you. Bye-bye. Hey guys, it's Jordan and Julia. Thanks for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
For content related to this episode, follow us at MakeMePod on Instagram. And you can hear episodes each week on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you find us anywhere else, please let us know.
You can also send us your questions, comments, make me suggestions, pictures of your dog, or requests for unlicensed medical advice to makemepod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, etc., etc. That's how we get discovered.
Please, we need to be clicked.
But for real, leave a comment so we know you love us.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
The worst is if they like compliment the shirt the first day. So if you wear it again, it's like awkward.
Oh, you complimented the first day, so I had to wear it again.
Right, exactly. All right, everybody. Until next week, enjoy. I'm going to do that again because I hated whatever just happened. Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm going to do that again because I hated it.
Okay. Serious.